Good morning. My name is Peter Hurst, and I'm the president and CEO of the Greater New England Minority Supplier Development Council. Thank you for taking time today to participate in today's session of How to Do Business with Lapine. Today, we have the team from Lapine, which includes Vanessa Palanchek, who's the National Brands Account Manager, and Mike Blumenthal, who is also a National Brands Account Manager. They will provide an overview of Lapine's procurement and supplier diversity program. Just a few housekeeping matters before we get started. First, we will be recording this session. Second, the Lapine presentation will be shared following the conclusion of this event. And third, there will be time at the end of the presentation for Q&A. Please use the Q&A function, not the chat function, for questions so that none of them are missed. So now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to turn the mic and the screen over to Mike and Vanessa. Mike and Vanessa, the floor is yours.
All right. Well, thank you, Peter, for all the kind words. We appreciate the opportunity to get in front of so many businesses here to tell our story. And thanks to Joanne for setting this up. As Peter mentioned, I'm Mike Blumenthal, and I'm here with my colleague, Vanessa Palanchek, and the name of our organization, as the logo on this slide indicates, is Lapine. So what we'd like to cover during our time together is first, tell you what it is these merchandise guys down in Southern Connecticut near the New York border called Lapine actually do during the workday. Then let you know some of the ways which we've managed to satisfy our clients over the past 60 years. And then we can discuss how many of you right here on the call might be able to be part of the Lapine experience by getting involved in our extensive supplier base. And of course, we're here for you. We want this to be productive, so we'll have a Q&A afterwards. And please reach out to us offline for specific inquiries that relate to your organization that we might not be able to cover here. Vanessa and I are both on LinkedIn, and our names are on the very last slide that we'll get to. So we'll remind you once we get there. Our true mission statement is worth reading verbatim here. We are a consumer engagement agency that brings brand stories to life by creating multi-sensory experiences through real merchandise solutions. So our true vessel to success here is merchandise, whether it's brand name products such as Weber, Garmin, Cuisinart, to name a few, where we work with as a distributor or manufacturer's rep to place these products into the corporate marketplace as premiums and incentives. Or it could be traditional promotional products, branded merchandise, if you will, your apparel, tote bags, mobile chargers, pens that we purchase from our trusty partner suppliers, have decorated very creatively with corporate logos, and then they are sold at a markup to our end users or agencies in some cases, and other distributors that help us reach the end recipient in places that we can't reach on our own. And the third dynamic used in producing fun merchandise to help businesses market themselves is through custom product development, where we take the collaborative vision of our client and Lapine and build something from scratch, oftentimes leveraging our overseas manufacturers to make something that's not quite off the shelf or on a web page. And we connect through B2B and through B2C. And we can touch on an example or two in a bit. So what does all this engagement lead to as an end game? Back to the slide here on the right side, we motivate consumer action, increase brand awareness, and engage personally, emotionally, and physically with engagements designed to make an impact. A little bit about the Arc of Success. Lapine started in 1962 by David S. Lapine in New York City, initially as Panasonic's first stocking distributor, when all the big electronic companies were not willing to invest in proper sales training for their own staff. And as you'll see, we've morphed into much more than just a brick and mortar box pushing organization. We are a consumer engagement agency that brings brand stories to life by creating multi-sensory experiences through real merchandise solutions. pardon the redundancy here, but if you have a mission statement and you're proud of it, then you might as well use it. So to strip down our mission statement a bit further, we create products that consumers love to talk about. David Lapine then brought his son Mark in soon after that, as he had just graduated from college, and together they ran the company. Mark took over full-time duties in about the late 80s, and to this day, Mark, although he doesn't handle day-to-day, he's the chairman of the board, and he roams our halls almost every day when he's not traveling, and he continues to be an amazing resource to bounce ideas off of. Now, present day, Lapine is run by Mark's two sons, Noah and Seth, along with their cousin, one of David's other grandsons, Paul Lapine. Headquartered in Stamford, Connecticut, about 45 minutes outside New York City, but we've opened offices over the past few years in Massachusetts, Miami, upstate New York, in India, and a few points in between. And of course, the world has pivoted dramatically over the past 18 months. You can technically say we have half the globe covered with all of our various remote satellite offices. And I don't think we're alone with this shift. So since size and our size, which is about mid-size in our locality, it's really allowed us to play a major role in our local Stamford community, such as participation in enhancements to the Boys and Girls Club, the Mill River Park collaboration, the Equity Institute workshops with Domus, Building One Community, just really embracing volunteering, which has been the fabric of how we perform as a company over 60 years. Here is a snapshot of some of the organizations that we support brand exposure for on both sides of the fence, the clients and the manufacturers. We don't specialize in any one vertical. So you can see there are a multitude of industries that we work with, from pharmaceutical, hospitality, pureplay.com, consumer packaged goods, beverage, department stores, nonprofit, and many more. You see PepsiCo here on the top row. Within the organization themselves, they have $20 billion brands just within PepsiCo itself. And we manage the merchandise both digitally and offline. Now, Marriott has 30 brands themselves and over 7,000 properties across the US alone that we supply in-room amenities for, as well as VIP guest gifts and much more. Keep in mind that Lapine satisfies the corporate world of premiums, but also a huge portion of our business focuses on the other side of the wall, selling into big box stores such as Best Buy and PC Richards, or massive supermarket chains such as Wegmans. That gives us a retail presence. So what we've done over the past decade or so is really fuse both sides of the house at Lapine and work together in collaboration on the same brands and methodologies that just might happen to be placed in different sectors. That's who we work with. Right. So I mentioned earlier that merchandise is the vessel used in creating these memorable experiences, but we have 7 other core solutions in our end-to-end solution chain that support the mission of impactful consumer engagement. As a client, one might not need all 8. Sometimes it's only one solution, like warehousing or build me a website or just get me some product. But we really feel that you guys as a supplier of valuable services can look at these solutions I'm about to get into and see where you might be able to engage Lapine. In full transparency, we're not sure what each and every one of your businesses does on a day-to-day, but we do want to work with as many MBEs as possible in any capacity that makes sense for both parties. So this little run through here might open more doors to the proverbial kitchen of Lapine and what we do. So to the left, we start with insights. When a prospect or client gives us an RFQ for merchandise, we owe them a presentation. We're not going to just arbitrarily pick items off of a tree and present just because we think they're cool. We have a research team that either pulls a range of data from a very basic study on what merchandise prospective iced tea buyers or tennis sneaker aficionados, for example, like with Lipton or New Balance, who we work with, what they might be want to be given as a gift or a reward, to an in-depth granular look at the effects branded products can have on your employees. All levels of studies are delved into. And some research tools are proprietary to Lapine, while others are outsourced. And these studies are meant to prioritize the voice of the consumer and shopper. And on top of that, our team produces consumer trend reports that are circulated to the sales team once a week. And Vanessa and I lean heavily on those. So moving over to the engagement strategy, a large part of what Vanessa and myself do on a day-to-day basis is seek out new brands for representation that we can offer to our clients on the other side, as I mentioned. We try not to get complacent. So both established and emerging brands in all of those categories that you saw on the previous slide are targets for us. So once we have a brand locked up, we then strategize on best go-to-market practices, because Lapine knows best the consumer they're going after. We know those consumers because they might already be buying something from Lapine with all the brands that we have. So design. We generally don't believe in logo slapping to meet a deadline. Rather, we bring in our best-in-class design team led by Steve Marola into every kickoff meeting with a new brand. This helps us understand our client or prospects' core values and the essence of their brand, which always manifests in the design used on merchandise or an e-commerce store that we're building. Right, digital solutions. We used to outsource these, but we found that we want to control it a little tighter. So we now use our own Lapine platform in most cases. We host and manage all of the Shop PepsiCo premium gifts for 20 or so brands, including the NFL licensed merchandise. Weber's e-learning platform, which helps dealers across the country that we work with to sell more effectively through product training. That was implemented by Lapine about 4 years ago. Royal Caribbean, over 85,000 employees across the globe. We source, warehouse, host, and manage their entire employee service awards program. Now, merchandise, it's our anchor, and I think I've touched on this already, so we'll slide over to program management. So at the outset of a program launch, the account manager has a checklist before submitting any merchandise requests. The list encompasses various departments. Are you giving any rebates back? We'll check with finance if that's the case. Your P&L needs to be filled out and approved by our ops manager. After the merchandise is selected, you better meet with the procurement manager strategically to buy into our large warehouse. Speaking of, we need to make sure our warehouse manager gives us costs for storage and the goods that are coming in. They should be earmarked for this new project. Is it an overseas program? If so, connect with Ellen Edwards. She is our licensed customs broker, especially during these tight supply chain days that we're living in right now. She's very valuable. So it's a fine-tuned process of onboarding a program, and we can't afford any leaks. In logistics, we do have a 350,000 square foot warehouse outside of Boston in Billerica, Massachusetts. Sometimes we take an inventory position for a program, especially when we act as the stocking distributor for a large brand. But in many instances, we'll have our factories drop ship directly to the client if possible. You know, timing is everything. So then lastly, the concierge. So this is the final phase of the process here. This service component that really massages the Lapine engine. I mean, the human component of a project that sometimes gets lost. It's supposed to enhance your brand and the connection it has to your customer base. It really can't be 100% automated. We don't call our support team customer service reps. We do refer to them as client concierges. Anytime an account manager cannot be reached, the concierges are front and center with direct to client contact. So from order tracking, stock issues, delivery problems, they're here to help us solve this all. And when we customize a web store for clients, the client concierge contact information is always going to be posted for the consumer to reach out to. I'll kick this next slide over to Vanessa.
Okay. So unmatched merchandise reach. At Lapine, we are a top 25 buyer in the promotional industry. Not to toot our own horn, but there are currently 22,000 promotional product distributors. We currently have direct relationships with factories and dozens of brands. And as you can see here, some of the products we've created from ideation through execution. We've created amenity bags to hold everything from makeup and tech accessories for VIP guests at W hotels. And also you'll see here, Gatorade. The bottle that you see on the sideline of NFL games and on benches of NBA games was created by Lapine. This story starts from many years ago when Gatorade had a call out that their old squeeze bottles logo was rubbing off after it got wet from condensation or sweat. So Lapine created a bottle for them that doesn't do that. And now we've gone on to create many other products as well for them, such as the bottle you see here, that's an exclusive at Dick's Sporting Goods, and the jugs too. Fun fact, if you flip over the jug, you'll see lapine.com on the label. We also partner with 1% for the Planet. Through Cloverly, we utilize technology plugins to capture carbon offset credit with each order. We then direct these funds to our approved 1% for the Planet suppliers to execute additional sustainability projects. Elevating the experience. So we always listen to our customer and we want to add that wow factor that they're looking for with creative and in-house design. Team, we're able to provide this for our clients. Currently, we print all of the wedding and save the date invites for Zola.com, which is a large online registry website. This relationship with Zola started out with Lapine solely selling them brands for their site, Cuisinart, Lodge Cast Iron, etc. And then as the relationship grew with them, so did our offerings to them. So not only do we print the invites that you see here, but we also designed and created custom wedding favors that they now offer on their site. We can also add the wow factor with unboxing with this custom box here that we've created for a company's President's Club promotion. Moving on to solutions. Like our clients, every challenge is unique. And like the world around us, needs are constantly changing. We adapt our approach to deliver the right solution specifically designed for that situation in that moment. Nothing is ever cookie cutter or one size fits all. We provide pure and inspired innovative ideas executed through our high impact and proprietary technology. I'll walk you through those 4 things right here, starting with Lapine Hub Shop. So making a good idea come off the whiteboard and become a real tangible solution takes effective strategy and seamless execution and fulfillment. Our in-house technology and design teams create agile and workable solutions for B2B, B2C, and direct-to-employee rewards campaigns. Carbon offset solutions. As I previously mentioned, we partner with 1% for the Planet, and at Lapine, we are continuously sourcing ethical and environmentally conscious solutions for our client and our planet. Spark. Our Spark solution offers streamlined process when it comes to leveraging the right merchandise for your business or organization. And finally, PRS, or Personalized Redemption Solution. We created a site of customized merchandise rewards. This here engages the consumer and increases brand loyalty. The site we created offers such items as monogrammed drinkware that you get to design yourself while being recognized or rewarded by your company. Our global team. So here at Lapine, we put people first. Our offices span the US, just like Mike had mentioned, from Stamford, Connecticut, where our home office is based, to Miami, and all the way to India, where we have a team that works hand in hand with us in finance, expediting, and customer service. A lot of our employees have stayed at Lapine for a very long time. Close to 25% of the company has been with us for 20 years or more. And we are constantly surrounded by smart, passionate people internally. And so that drives us to get high impact results outside our company, where we are always looking to streamline or improve anything from banking, cleaning services, office suppliers, benefit providers, and the list goes on. Mike will now walk you through our Ignite process.
Thanks, Vanessa. So we have a proprietary engine of sorts at Lapine that drives the connection between brands and consumers, which we call Ignite. Every project that we take on, we put through the Ignite process which stands for insights. Our ideas and recommendations are rooted in data-driven facts. No guesswork or auspicious predictions are necessary. Goal clarity. If we as a partnership are going to meet our expectations together, it's imperative that we get the story of our client's goals laid out before we embark on the journey. Navigate complexity. The road towards completing our missions can be very turbulent at times. Mitigating circumstances might arise, like for instance, the global shipping crisis, and we're well practiced at getting in front of any unforeseen events as soon as possible and just staying nimble, getting it done even when it's not an easy ask. Innovation. Never get complacent, always pass through the knowledge that we've just picked up from a colleague, a client, friend, relative, or even the outside world, and applying these best practices. It is an evolving practice, an evolving process that will keep your engagement with your consumers and customers fresh through innovation. Transparency. So this goes without saying. There should never be 11th hour surprises because we've communicated where we are every step of the way throughout the project, and that the possibility of a surprise and what those might be are typically laid out to result in ultimate transparency. And finally, execution. This is where we get to collectively shine with our client for the whole world, or in most cases, target audience to see. Everything that we've discussed so far about Lapine manifests into flawless execution. So Vanessa's going to talk about a case study here.
Yep, I would like to just walk you through a case study here. So you can see a real life example of something that we took at Lapine here from ideation through execution. So the brand is called Cascade Blonde. We currently work with a company, Diageo. They're a multinational global beverage company that produces over 200 alcohol brands. So they were launching a new brand called Cascade Blonde, which is an American whiskey that's a little lighter than your traditional whiskey, and it's meant to be enjoyed as sort of a laid back day sipping beverage, one that you would sit out by the lake in the late afternoon with your friends after a day of fishing. So their request when launching this brand was that they wanted to give consumers lifestyle wearables and accessories that fit the brand's story. They wanted an online merchandise shop so they could meaningfully engage and connect with their consumer on a seasonal basis. So what was our solution? Our team, after talking with the client and doing targeted consumer insights research, we designed and launched a curated assortment that fit the Cascade Blonde customer. We created an online shop through our Shop Hub solution to engage consumer with the seasonal product we created. We have beach towels in the summer and beanies in the winter, for example. So we further went on so the customer would have an amazing unboxing experience, since that's part of like what people do today. So the boxes that we created are custom. We have custom stickers for the boxes and coasters put inside the box. So this increases loyalty and engagement, where the customer can share this experience online or with their friends. And then finally, logistics, where we bring everything full circle. With every purchase of Cascade Blonde Lifestyle Collection, we drove proceeds to American Rivers to support eco-friendly vendors. So that's what we do here at Lapine. We'd like to thank you all for listening and coming today. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask Mike and myself.
Here, all the share here.
Hi, sorry, this is Joanne. I'm having some, oh, here's my self view. Nope, that's not right. Why can't I show myself? So thank you so much for, no, it's still not there. Where am I? Okay, well, we will launch into the questions. So I already see one. Do you contract with staffing firms for any projects?
We do contact with staffing. It's certainly from an employment point of view, and then they work with suppliers as well. So yes, as far as specific names of the staffing agencies, I can get those over to you. And they're mostly local in the greater southern Connecticut, Fairfield County area. But yeah, that is something that we do.
Okay, thank you. And then I see a question in the chat. If you could just direct them to the Q&A box, that would be helpful. So what is your process to accept MBE suppliers?
So the process, we right now are in the midst of working on a supplier portal that I am told is very close to fruition. So what we're thinking is that since we, in full transparency, we don't know exactly what you guys do right now, I think the best way to engage off of this is to let us know, send us what you guys do. And as these service needs do arise, you will be in the mix, and we will reach out. We are proactive. Our supplier engagement team is more than proactive about onboarding MBEs when the specific needs arrive for all of those services that Vanessa had mentioned. The accounting, HVAC, lighting, benefit, anything you need. So once we know what these services are that are out there, should any of the services become an active need from Lapine, Vanessa and I will act as a liaison and make sure that you guys are aware. But that portal should be ready. We'll keep you guys as a group posted on when that's ready.
Thank you. Okay, so another question. Again, if we can put these in the Q&A, so then we'll have track of it later on. So if there's any follow-up necessary, it's super helpful to have the email with the question. Do you work with diverse firms to help drive expense reduction initiatives such as shipping, telecom, technology, et cetera?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the name of the firm, Joanne?
So I don't have the name of the company, but the question is whether or not you work with any firms to help drive expense reduction initiatives like shipping, telecom, and technology.
Absolutely. And the lead on that within our organization is Ellen Edwards, who I mentioned during the presentation, who kind of handles all of the logistics, bringing things from point A to point B. Not a week goes by without a few articles that are posted on the phase of the shipping and moving product. It's for the first time in our careers, it's really becoming a moving target, and it's not so templated. If you to charge someone for freight and then to know that in a month later when the container is about to be picked up, it's not what you agreed to. We have that process is in very good hands with Ellen.
Okay. Do you provide services outside of the U.S.?
We do. Hi, Joanne.
Hi. I was looking everywhere.
Yeah.
Luckily, I'm not the most important person in this webinar, so not a big deal that
Sell yourself short. Okay, so outside of the U.S., we have a presence. We work with manufacturers in China and Vietnam, in India. We have clients. Royal Caribbean, for example, they cruise everywhere. Every employee that's on a ship is an international employee, and we have to find ways to get them there. Sometimes it's shipping to a DC in Florida on a ship and waiting until they come into the States. Other brands, we work with our broker and other clients to make sure that they do go overseas. We have some warehouse capabilities in the UK. They run the international component of a lot of these redemption programs. And some brands, in full transparency, like Weber, you can't ship a grill like outside of the US. You just can't. So what we would then do is work with Procurement International or suppliers like that to find let's say the European or the Asian version of that product. And as you know, there's issues with adapters and such, but we have partners that are helping us parallel US products overseas to reach those markets.
Okay, the next question is your company investing in digital cloud solutions? We're an MBE company currently supporting telecom clients and federal clients. Is there any way we can showcase our capabilities in digital solutions and cloud solutions?
That sounds like something we can certainly engage in. Yeah, we do a lot of web programs. I think with any massive machine, there are probably some kinks that need to be ironed out, and we're always looking for help with our end-to-end digital process. So I think the short answer is yes, we're looking to enhance that experience, and would welcome someone that might be able to give us some advice.
Okay, for anyone asking, emails for Vanessa and Mike will be shared with the presentation at the conclusion of our event. So you will have all of this, which there was so much great information. So sometime later on this afternoon, everyone will receive this.
Great.
Other questions?
Joanne, if there are not any further questions, I'd like to thank Mike and Vanessa and also make an offer. We are available to help push out information about potential opportunities you have going out. We have a bi-weekly newsletter that over 9,500 receive. We also can post opportunities on our social media page. There's another way to get the information out. So please use us to take advantage of that. And we really appreciate you taking the time, and we hope a lot of our companies, Joanne, I can't remember, did we answer the question about the international client base? I saw that.
I believe yes.
Okay.
So I'm like going back and forth between the two question boxes.
Yeah, we have international accounts, we have international suppliers. Sometimes the two work together, other times we're able to transship and make sure that it works. And a lot of it is very case specific, but we have a presence overseas for getting product from point A to point B.
Okay, so thank you so much for your time today. We really appreciate it, Vanessa and Mike, and for all of the attendees. As I mentioned, this is recorded. We will be putting this on our YouTube page, and we will be sharing the presentation as well as contact information sometime today. So again, thank you so much for your time, and have a great weekend.
It was our pleasure. You have a great weekend as well, and we look forward to continuing the dialogue and doing some business with you guys. So we'll be in touch.
So thank you again.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Thank
All right,
you.
guys.
Bye-bye.
All right, thanks for the opportunity. Okay.
Thank you.